You get your money's worth first, members.
Bam!
There it is. Oh, we told you we would.
Oh.
That was the best.
Welcome
That's
to
amazing.
Word Change, everybody. This is the post show where we hear about the truth behind the lies. We got to hear a lot of truth on this episode, actually, but there's definitely some more detail we want to go into. Again, that ass pic is cropped in like that. It's not the whole
it's
picture.
not. Yeah, it's not just an ass. It's not just me being like, I love the internet. I feel like someone who time traveled and got Twitter and was like, oh, you can show butts for free.
You did what's for free on Reddit, Reddit.com.
I love the internet. Let me.
I love it.
That.
Well,
Ass.
speaking of the internet and everything we love about it, so Iffy, I would love to know more details about this story. So, So when you said the FBI visited, like, what happened with that?
God.
Yeah, I'll give the truncated version, mostly because everyone in chat figured out they're like, I seen it, and I was like, oh, you shut up. I've told the story. Yeah,
obviously.
I've told the story. And
Clearly.
it was also on my comedy album, but so when I was younger, like the school, like when I was going to school, they had these homework help books, and they had a website. Like it was actually a planner, not a homework help book. It was a website, and they're like, for homework help, go to this site. And I was like just jazzed off of having this new item. I go to the site, and they have these forums, and like there's like one thread that's like, find your internet girlfriend or boyfriend, and I was like, oh, tight, I'd love that. And so I join, and me and this girl connect, and we start typing like sexting in Yahoo Instant Messenger like nightly. And and what was tight was my dad was the manager for the apartment complex, so if he thought I was studying, he'd give me his office, which is like out of the house somewhere else, and like 2 levels of doors of deadbolt lock, so that's like a easy to jack place, so I was like, so I was just in there up to no good. Like that. You don't give a child that much freedom to lock that many doors with internet access. Yeah.
No,
so
keeping Kleenex in the black, like absolutely keeping them well in profits.
So this is like a regular occurrence for a bit, and then all out of nowhere, like I just go, and she's just not online anymore. Like she never logs back in, and I was like, oh damn, that sucks, and kind of forget about it, because you're like 14, you're like whatever, going with your life. And then like just one Saturday, I get like there's a knock at the door, and I open it. I'm like living in Compton, California at the time, and it's a man in this, like, I still remember, it was like a tan suit, tie, briefcase, the whole nine. And he was like, hey, are you Iffy Wadiway? And I was like, yeah, like not even acknowledging how weird it is that this man in a suit from out of nowhere is asking him that. And he was like, oh, thank God. And I was like, what? And he was like, can I talk to your parents? And I go get my parents, and he like, he brings us in, and I probably was like 12 at anywhere between 12, 14. I barely remember, but we sit down, and he like sits down, and I still don't know what it is. And he's like, hey, how's it going? I'm so-and-so with the FBI. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I came to investigate because, your son has been having cyber sex online, and the language he was using was pretty advanced for his age. So we had to make sure he wasn't an adult trying to like meet up. Like, so like, that wasn't a lie. I'm good at cyber sex. And he like
with a child.
Yeah, as a child, with a child. I would like that clarification. Thank you very much.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
But like he opens his briefcase and hands a stack of paper over to my parents, and it's the chat logs. Yes, it was the chat logs from the cyber sex. Yeah, and my parents got to read everything that I was saying, and like they were just like flipping through it, and I was just sitting there losing my mind. And it's so funny because I've told the story many times on stage. I've told this story many different like podcasts. I've told this story. It's the video that I'm in. I tell the story, and it is just now that I'm realizing I have a big fear. Like if I'm like talking about someone via text or anything, I'm always afraid like I'm gonna accidentally send it to them, or that they'll find out somehow, or that my group chat is going to be released online. And it's just hitting me. I was like, oh, this is why. Because as a young child, I had a private conversation that I thought was only between me and the other person, and it was scooped up and handed to my parents. It just that's why.
That's traumatizing.
That's a therapy breakthrough. People pay hundreds of dollars for that kind of breakthrough. That's
right.
And you know, Rooster Teeth did it for $3.50, baby. And actually, they paid me to do it.
Oh man.
But yeah, oh yeah.
That's
I want to know
sad.
your parents' reaction.
My parents they were like, it's okay, we're gonna take care of this and all this stuff, and then they like laughed at me, like they're like, you know, they like just laughed for so long. Yeah, they still like put me on punishment from like using the internet for a while, but like they weren't like, oh my gosh. Like my parents were pretty open about sex and sexual exploration, so it wasn't like the worst thing in the world that I did it. The big problem was that the FBI came to the house. And,
that's the problem. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So like, yeah.
Wow.
So luckily, I think that's also like in the long run, because I could see now how just like simple, like just talking with someone, but like, yeah, they were just real chill about it. As a matter of fact, they just constantly would make fun of me and call me chocolate syrup, because one of my lines was like, I'm gonna cover you in chocolate syrup and lick it off. And so that was their little they read it. So I knew they read it because they are quoting me to me, which normally is kind of cool.
Yep.
I would have asked them to take the transcript, use that as kindling to light me on fire. That's
right.
Just burn me right. I want to be emulsified right now.
Yeah.
That is what you just grab that paper. This moment. Yeah.
I asked them too, because like one time I told the story and someone was like, do your parents still have that? And I remember asking my dad, I was like, what do y'all have it? He was like, no, I don't know. Like, but I was like, what did y'all do? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, they probably threw it away. They're like, this is just like horny text.
This is a horny novel.
Right.
Get rid of that.
Like, keep that. But it would have been
trash.
tight to be able to like go back and see what I was writing. Oh my gosh.
No, I wouldn't have.
Well, God damn, it's so few places to go to.
That's remarkable.
So Fiona, since you're wearing the unicorn hat,
yeah, I'm wearing the unicorn.
It makes sense to ask about. So the horse that kicked you, it kicked you in the thigh, you said?
On the thigh, yeah. It got scared. So, a quick story. It just got scared of a horse. I mean, not a horse, a dog in front. The dog was in front of the horse, and I was behind the horse, and it kicked me. And I just finished horseback riding, and I got down, and they always tell you, don't go behind the horse. Guess what I did? And yeah, so it got scared of the dog. It was a full-on kick. I got terrified. The bruise was huge. It was blue. It was huge. Yeah, no, it was not fun. I cannot be near a horse anymore. That's the trauma I dealt with.
It's all these stories like scarring people.
Simon, just you see a big ass horse, it kicks you in the thigh. What do you do about it? You don't go
near horses. If he can't text anymore.
No, he can't do it.
That's why we all need therapy.
It's so funny you bring up horses, because I have a friend who does horseback riding, and I remember I was like watching videos last night, and I remember just staring at me like, why do we fuck with horses? These things are
That's
huge.
What I'm saying.
And
big.
I had
my mom riding them, and pulling their hair.
You are crazy.
I did not. It was my father, and we know, my father, a white man. He put me on that horse. My mother was against it. My mother was like, absolutely not. My mother was against it, but he put me on there, and guess what happened? This man wanted to be a cowboy so bad.
Like horses are a white man's game.
Yeah, that's for them. I mean, also like, have y'all been around like live horses? like because
No,
like
just
that
dead
I think
ones.
what's also terrifying about them is like like tigers, dogs, wolves all have signifiers that they're gonna like fuck you up, like
They look at you dead in the eye. Yeah.
my mom had a friend who had horses, and she just would let them roam free for some reason. And it was one of those things where your parents were like, come meet me here, I'm a and we'll like go. And so I'm like walking to the front door, and the horse is just slowly making its way towards me. And I'm like, I don't know if this wants to kick my ass or lick me, but it just kept getting closer. So I just kept backing up, and I had my hands up as if the horse was holding a gun. hold the phone.
Let's calm down, horse.
Let's talk this out.
Well, there's just like, it's like big animals like that, like whether it's like a smaller animal that's like a predator, or like just like a big animal. It's like whatever that animal wants to happen is gonna happen. There's like nothing
there's no controlling that thing. There's no control. He does it.
It's like
it just does it.
Exactly.
It just does it. Yeah.
If anything, horses give you the illusion of power when you're riding on a horse.
You control that thing. If that thing decides to eat you, it will just eat you, dude. Like it will just
like,
off on you,
I
bro.
want this to end. This is over.
If that horse doesn't feel like it anymore, bro, he will kick you off, and you would be flying the other side. Like, bro, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that horse is just like, look, you on here as long as I want you to be.
Exactly. If you think you're in control, think again.
Yeah. If horses could make their own sugar cubes and oat bags, done. Humanity done. The next day.
They'll stampede. It's a stampede.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyways,
Andrew,
so that happened.
Before we wrap up real quick, can you just go into a little detail about the sandbox?
Oh yeah, I mean that was the story. So I lived in this apartment complex with these two other kids who were just like, I mean, your like cookie cutter, just stereotypical bullies. Like they were just two assholes, and it really was like a cartoon version of it too. It's like one's like tall, lanky kid, and his like short, stubby kind of like lackey who just kind of did everything he said. Anyway, these two kids, they just were. Yeah, they were just assholes. They were just jerks. And I was walking back home from there was this area where like most of the kids played in this complex, and I was walking back home, which was past the pool. And these two kids just like wet some sandbox sand and like ran around a corner and just like point blank fistfuls of sand threw it right in my face, and it just like completely I took it right in the eyes without blinking, like just sand completely scraped my sand scraped my cornea. I like went home and you remember that game Kerplunk that had like it was like marbles and you take the little red sticks out and like it's kind of kind of a Jenga style game. I was in the bathroom like trying like this with a kerplunk stick, digging sand out of my eye.
Oh God.
And horrible stuff. And it was it scratched my eye so bad.
That's what did it, not the kids. That might be what did it.
This is a kerplunk, and the doctor's like, this is a kerplunk wound. I can see it a mile away.
Actually, the doctor got out a hermetically sealed surgical kerplunk stick and then used that to go in my eye. It completely scratched up my eyes like really, really bad. And because it was dirty cat shit sand, like outdoor sandbox sand, like they put me on a bunch of antibiotics because they were like worried that my eyes were going to get super infected. So like I was like, had the patches over my eyes for like 2 weeks, and it was bad fucking news.
So for like 2 weeks, did you have to wear them constantly for like 2 weeks?
I could like open them up to like clean them out and like flush them and like put like salve, and then I'd have to like cover back up, and then like it was real bad.
To the bullies? Did anything happen to the bullies?
The one of the bullies' dad like frog marched him to my front door, and like I mean just a real like an angrier father you've never seen, just like standing behind him and like apologize to him. Just like, I know that kid got spanked. Like, real bad. I know he got whooped because like he was frog marched to my front door. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I threw sand in. I'm just like apologized. It was he apologized, but yeah,
Andrew's
man.
standing there with 2 eyes, like not even seeing.
You almost made me blind. Thanks for your apology. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're with your back to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, all right. That was an adventure.
Damn.
That episode. So thanks for tuning in for Chump Change. Thank you everybody for coming by and talking about those stories. That was insanity. That 60 seconds didn't quite get across. That was our longest episode yet, I think. So, make sure to tune in for Chump next week, 5 p.m. Central Time. You can watch it live. And thank you for being a first member so you can see more Chump Change. And before we fade to black, Nick, let's put the ass back on screen and fade it out.
Run it back.
Let's get that. There it is. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, everyone.